Um, this came about from some of our student government members doing an experiment by having some posters outside, ask some very open questions as far as in regards to campus, student experience, and what things would do to improve the student experience on a day-to-day basis. We got some very informative and very real insight. So we decided to formulate this town hall, which gives the students the opportunity to interact directly with the faculty and give us some direct feedback, which then we'll take back later and do a little game planning to figure out how we can effectively improve the students' experience inside and outside the classrooms. So how this will work is, I guess my name is Gabriel Johnson. This is my co-facilitator, Latif Alexander, our student trustee. We'll be asking a couple questions, and then they'll be answering them. And then what we'll do after about 15-20 minutes, we'll take some questions from the audience. So, without further ado, I'll leave it with you guys down there.
Hello. So what motivates you to attend class and complete assignments? Okay, so start by introducing yourself.
Okay. I'm Charlene Allen Boyle, legislative advocate, and my major is bioscience medicine.
Hello, my name is Casey Bess. I'm the Math and Science Senator for ASSC, and I'm the Mesa Student Society President, and I'm a biology major.
Hello everybody, I'm Jordan Coffey and I'm a biology major as well.
Good afternoon, my name is Earl Taylor, business major and president of the African American Male Scholars Club.
Good afternoon, my name is Jolena Lewis. I am your business senator for the ASSC and I am also an accounting major.
Thank you. What motivates you to attend class and complete assignments?
As for myself, in regards to completing assignments, it's important for me is keeping the big picture in mind. A lot of us lose sight of what we're here for.
To be honest, GPA. I'm trying to get into this college that requires a really high GPA, so that kind of motivates me. But also, I like to help other students in the class, and if I don't know the material, I can't help them.
So what motivates me to attend class and complete assignments? I actually do like learning. I like going to school. And yes, it helps, when I study often, it does actually help with my grade in the class. So if I have a good GPA, then I'm able to, apply for a tag to universities. On top of that, it kind of shows us how hard I do work to have a high GPA.
What has been the single biggest obstacle to your academic success?
Well, for me, it has been navigating classes, finding the right teacher for me. Teachers are not, inherently good or bad in my opinion, but they are part of the fit of your personal approach. And so that's been a big obstacle for me, is finding the teachers that match me.
As for myself, it would be a sustainable work environment. So between the Emoji program and the MESA program offers an environment for students to work outside of the classroom that's safe and conducive to their learning. So things like that.
I think the biggest obstacle for me, my first time coming here, I was used to the prison industry, so I'm coming from prison, and it was a scary event getting started in school. So to get started, I thought it was a nightmare. But getting involved in some of these support groups like Emoja and talking with counselors like Dr. Tucker and everything have really boosted my confidence to continue education.
As part of the ASSC, I wanted to get more student body input on the questions that were being asked today. So I actually proposed these questions to my political science class and a couple of my other classmates and got feedback. So it's not just self-satisfying or answering when I give you the answers to these questions, and what most people said for the biggest obstacle that they come across is time. Because time management is the most difficult thing that most students have, especially coming to community college. Not all the student body is straight from high school. A lot of us are single parents or going for second careers like myself, or like our fellow students up here out of prison or other work industries. So time management is the biggest obstacle for most of us.
What motivates you to stay on track toward your goal?
For me, staying on track is knowing the end game, that something in the future is going to be more positive. The fact that I'll get a better career in the end is my biggest motivator.
Well, for me, coming from prison, I know there's nothing, nobody wants an ex-felon that's uneducated without anything. So I felt that education had to be my primary resource for me to get reinstated back into the community. And for me, this is one of the biggest decisions that I've made in my life, is to come back to school and prepare myself to be more marketable in the future.
As for myself, I'll be setting an example for those who follow behind me. As we know, Solano Community College is community. A lot of people are going to come here and transfer through here and succeed. Some are going to fall by the wayside. But as I look back at my time here at Solano, I want to make sure that I set a good example for those who come up behind me and have an easier route than I did, obviously.
Big motivator for me is my family. In my far extended family, and I come from a big family, 60, 70 people, and just like 2 or 3 removed from me. No one has gone to college, and I want to try and be a beacon for them, get them motivated. If he can do it, I can do it. That's my motivator, and that's what keeps me going.
Okay, so both of my parents came from the Philippines. My mom only graduated from high school, and my dad they didn't have the opportunity to go to college. When you come from a impoverished community, you don't have the opportunity to go to college. You have to stay home, sell beads, or make baskets on the side. That's where I came from. That's where my parents came from. So they were able to come here in America, and then they had me and my 4 siblings. Me being first generation college student, that's what I want to do. I want to become the first doctor of both sides of my family, and it will happen. I have a lot of time too. I mean, I came here when I was 15, and I'm 20 now, so that's a long time, and I still have the same goal. I will become a pediatric oncologist. So what motivates me is that when I look at my siblings, I want the best for them. My dad's no longer with us, and as elders, I take the responsibility, to support their futures. So when I look at them, they're absolutely perfect in my eyes. They deserve the best. That's my motivation.
All right, and just to give you a heads up, we just have another individual on the panel, Chris, right? He's a veteran Chris. So next question is, what is the best way to support your academic success?
For me, it's actually just continually just being consistent and doing my homework. Also being involved in the school, knowing what's going around. On top of that, there is a lot of money floating around. And it's up to the student, to find those money, like for example, scholarships or grants, making sure that you apply on time, making sure you register on time, you have priority registration date. On top of that, it's knowing your SEP plan, knowing what you want to do, going to a counselor. If you need help, go to a counselor. They're all nice, okay? Don't be scared. But it's actually staying focused and then knowing what you need to do to keep yourself on track.
For me, it's always been keeping in touch with teachers. I'm that student that's always taking up the office hours so you can't get in there. You know, even if I don't have anything necessarily to ask the teacher, I'll go in there just to, you know, how can I do better? How can I succeed? You know, I've had teachers tell me, yeah, don't be a lawyer, you won't like it. I've had a teacher tell me, you really shouldn't be a history teacher, or you shouldn't be a history student, you should be a biology student, and he's not here today, so I can't blame him. And so, you know, really they see a lot of people who succeed, a lot of people who don't, and they can kind of spot these shortcomings that you might not know you have, or these potentials you might not know. When I switched to biology major, it was a weight lifted off my shoulders. I started doing much better in classes. I started feeling more motivated, and it was a great experience. So keep in touch with your teachers.
I would like to actually echo Casey speaking of teacher relationships. And what's unique about building a relationship with your teacher is that they actually keep you accountable. You don't have that simple relationship of I'm going to class, I'm doing homework. If you build that relationship, you have a network, you have a foundation that they see greatness in you, and they will bring that out of you. You believe in yourself because of that.
I think a person has to find something that'll motivate them. There's countless of programs and clubs and activities on campus that can get a person motivated, that would inspire them to continue their success. For me, it's been definitely, like I said, one of the Moja, and finding something that can help increase, especially black men enrollmentship here, which I find is one of the smallest. So I'm definitely inspired to do something that I can do to increase black men coming into college and continuing their education.
I think everything that the board so far has said is really good, but I want to touch on the negatives that we don't have available for us. And the biggest thing that I found asking our student body what they're looking for to help them succeed would be more teachers' office hours being spread out, not just at the same time every day, because we may have a class during that time and we can't come see you during that time. So having a variety of different office hours would be more helpful to us. And the resources, the labs are awesome. I love having the labs, the computer labs and the math lab and the English labs available for us. The computer lab is really helpful, especially for those that don't have computers at home. I know many of the students don't. So having the resources available would be extremely helpful and making them more available to us. One of the other things that I found that a lot of students are asking for is an extension on the credits for financial aid, because a lot of us come in not knowing exactly what we want to major in, and they'll start studying basic courses, but then switch in the middle, or even those that have a plan. Financial aid still doesn't cover the full amount that we need. So having more financial aid available or extending the credits that we can use for financial aid.
As prior military, I know that we're taught for reaching out, definitely for myself, working also in the Veterans Affairs office here at the school. We're taught to reach out with anything that you can. For my goals, my success, I like working with Veterans Affairs. They help me keep on track. They help me out with whatever I need. I know we have over 1,200 veteran associated students here on campus. I would say the big thing for veterans, getting our VRC, our Veterans Resource Center. I know you have the math lab, you got the computer labs, math lab, English lab, but with over 1,200 veteran associated students on campus, Veteran Resource Center, our own building for veterans, would definitely contribute to veterans' success.
All right. Next question. So, how do staff, non-teachers, so non-instructional employees, how do you feel? How can they better let you know that they care about your success?
That's a good question. For some of the staff, just being better acquainted with, I'd say, a lot of the rules on campus. I see there's people who still smoke all around campus. Just better understanding of all the rules that go across the campus.
I'd like to expand on that and just be more knowledgeable about things not only on campus, but resources that are available to the students. There's many times I'll ask a teacher or instructor that's passing by a question about what's available for certain things and they have no clue. And they'll tell me, they'll direct me to where I could find out, but then I get directed to somewhere else and then somewhere else, and it's a merry-go-round. And actually I wind up having to go to 6 different places before I can find the information I'm looking for. So even being more knowledgeable about what is going to go on campus or what is available to us would be more helpful.
One of the events that we just had a couple of weeks ago was we had a meeting with Mr. Clegg, the library director, and one of the things that we wanted to do extend the library hours or for more even Saturday operations. But he had met with many of the students to discuss that how he can better serve us, and I thought that was really nice because he was really concerned how we can best utilize the library. I feel the library is very important because with so many other computer labs and things closing at such an early time, the library should be extended to later hours because, you know, we're in there a lot, definitely, especially me and a lot more students, but I think that library is very important that we can extend it or offer Saturday service, and the teachers coming in and meeting with us to seeing what we can do, what they can do to extend these services to us meant a lot to us.
So everybody knows there's a necessity for strong foundation when you build something. We can all agree upon that. But when you look at it, and holistically speaking, we have a school that consists of students and teachers. That's most people look at it as. The students and teachers become bricks. However, the staff that are not teachers, they're the mortar that hold everything together. And they play a role of importance that's definitely there as well. So as we pass through the halls, as we speak to people, and we might share a smile or a conversation, it holds the students up, holds them together, and lets them know that it's going to be okay. They're going to get through it. So thank you to all of you who actually are in that position. You guys are that for me.
There's been a lot of talk on campus about not being able to identify staff, like no uniforms or no real identifying markers. So I've heard a lot of people say like they can't find staff, and I have no trouble finding staff because I have to deal with them so often, and not deal with them. That sounds harsh. I actually like the staff, especially in facilities. You know, being the president of the club, I have to get tables, I have to have things set up, get cash box. Dina Hudson in SDO, she's an amazing person. You know, she's always helping people out. But you know, really, it's the fact that they're so available. I can't really say that they can better help me. Just name tag for other people would be my best friend. But yeah, I love the staff here.
So in terms of how to staff, let me know that they care about us. I think it's really helpful, to once in a while just stumble upon someone who actually works behind the doors and ask them what they do, and then have a conversation with them about what my major is, what I want to do in life, and where they came from. Did they go to school here? Like those little things that actually make people's days. That'd be nice if I was actually able to talk to someone. Like I like a lot of people that listen to the records. But yeah, just having a relationship with people who actually do work behind doors. Because we're the ones out in front representing the school. They're the workhorses, remember? But yeah, that's all I can say about that.
What have been the 2 most important factors in your success?
So one is staying driven, knowing who I am doing this for. And at the end, think about it. You're the only one who can go out there in the real world and support yourself. There's those small cases where, education is not essential, but having a good education is the way. And on top of that, you know, if you want to be in the medical field, you don't, like for me, I want to have a relationship with my patient. And on top of that, if I'm going to school, I'm not, C's don't get degrees, I don't agree with that at all. I actually want to have a passion in what I'm learning. And on top of that, taking that education that I have and applying it to what I do in the future. And so basically, mentorship is just knowing who you're doing it for and knowing that you are the only one that can push you through this life.
The major one is, I mentioned before, was the teachers, and you know, not to reuse anything, but the staff too. That's my second motivation. Jose Ballesteros has given me a lot of motivation. Before him, Mustafa Gausa gave me a lot of motivation. Dina Hudson, Amy Gaylord, she's one of the counselors here on campus, and I'm always recommending her because she did a lot of career counseling before she became a counselor, so she knows those common pitfalls, and she really helped me navigate that. So those have been just key to my success right there.
So as far as important factors within my success here, Solano, it would be actually the network. No matter what, no matter where you are, there's somebody who knows you. And if I can leave you guys with a little dime of wisdom my grandpa left me, is that no matter where you go, your name follows you. So leaving that your name will kind of precede you even before you arrive, and that your interactions with people will pass on between people despite you even being there or not. So that network that you build through leaving your name is definitely something that helps success.
For me, without a doubt, it has been mentorship. Coming straight out of prison, Dr. McCord, the first thing she did was had given me a mentor, Mr. Thomas Trujillo. That has been the biggest help for me because he motivated me, talked to me. There were many times I wanted to give up, but I think that minorities, especially young men, black men coming in, we had the lowest black male enrollment. They should be given mentors because they're so quick to give up. They don't have any directions, nobody to guide them, and I believe this would definitely enhance. They would retain and be guided better to to continue their education. So for me, I would like to definitely see young males, especially young black men, to have mentors coming in. You know, it helped me. I didn't even think about continuing education, let alone graduate. I'm about to graduate next year in May and continue my education at San Francisco State. So I didn't even think this was possible. But my mentor definitely stayed with me, had me up here every day, came to my house, called me. He was bugging me, you know. But it worked, because I'm still here, I'm ready to graduate. This is a dream for me. And a mentorship program, Dr. McCord, she's introducing the Trailblazer program for young black men to come in to have this mentorship to help them. And for me, it's a huge success because without my mentor, which encouraged me in other activities and things of that nature, I'm about ready to graduate, going to San Francisco State. Nobody can tell me nothing.
I have to elaborate on that because my two main factors for success would have to be, first and foremost, a support team. And if you don't have a support team, you need one. And there's a lot of people that come into the community college that don't. They don't. And I think that we should expand our mentorship that we do have here. I don't think enough students even are aware that they could find a mentor. And I think that we need to put that out there more. But my second one to succeed, I would have to say, is great teachers. Because I found that the teachers that I wind up succeeding more in the class are the ones that actually lecture and bring the lecture back to the students where it relates to our everyday life. When they can give us examples that they've gone through to explain what they're actually trying to teach us, that relate more to our life and what we're going through on a daily basis, that's more helpful and makes me learn more. But I'm also a hands-on learner, so more handouts, more group work, more inactivity in the classroom. Give us more things so that we're actually doing things to get to know each other. I found that the classes that I exceeded most in were the ones that the teachers actually made the students learn each other in the classroom and made us get together and work together to do things so that we had each other to have you done the homework tonight, did what you get on this problem. That support system just within the classroom was a big help.
I would say firstly, like each one of them has said, the support group is a major factor in a student's success. And secondly, success can ultimately come from that individual. If they want something bad enough, they're going to fight for it.
What makes you feel connected to the college?
For myself, I'd definitely say the Veterans Association here at the school. When I first started attending college here this semester, I was not really involved with the Veterans organization here at the school, but after getting all my paperwork completed with the Veterans Association, I started actually working in the office and getting to know all the veterans, not all the veterans, but a lot of the veterans who are connected with the Veterans Affairs here in office.
This was actually one of the questions that I proposed to the classes, and the most response I got was, we're not. And it's because the lack of knowledge of what clubs are available is the biggest issue. A lot of them said they don't know what clubs are available, and the clubs that they want to join are inactive. So more activity in the groups and the availability and knowledge of the groups that we offer here on campus would make people more active. Also, they said more social areas away from the 1400 building, because all the social area is included only in this building as far as most students see. There's not enough benches elsewhere on the green or anywhere else. There's spotting here and there, but there's nothing major. Maybe an activity center here on campus, like a game center for kids to get together. There's a lot of students that I see in the cafeteria a lot of times that come in here to play big games. They come in here and play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, Pokemon or whatever it is. You see different groups and cliques that are doing that, but there's other games that other people are more interested in. And I think that's the biggest thing, is making more groups available and the knowledge of the groups that we do have out there.
Yes, getting the students involved in planning, the school events, like the MLK, having students on there. And I've been part of all that. The SSC been inviting me to a lot of, meetings that we can help get the students' input. Dr. McCoy, she forever trying to get I mean, we have the African American Scholars Club, the African American Women's Scholars Club, the Peace Club, there's so many events that students can get involved in, and getting involved in these events, I feel connected. I feel my opinion matters because they definitely cherish the students' input.
Okay. So as far as making me feel connected to the campus, I'm gonna actually look at the latter of that. There's nothing worse than a student coming into counseling and being treated as a number. They come in, they say, oh, take this class, you have this GPA, you get this fee waiver or whatnot, and you leave not feeling fulfilled as if you're actually part of this campus and society. So empowering the students with the ability to actually look beyond that, and the staff look beyond them being simply numbers, but as people who actually want to make something of themselves, that will actually integrate deep connection with students on the campus. So as we do for like these Solano Ambassadors program, we introduce students to these clubs or activities, or how do you say, environmentally friendly places like MESA or Emoji program, so they know that they have a resource to tap into that makes them more than a number and more than their GPA.
Actually, just last night I was having a discussion with a friend of mine about students being connected on campus, and it is those people who are connected to the campus that make me feel connected to the campus. I interact with people in clubs often, other clubs. We have joint ventures. Like Mesa's doing a joint venture with the 80 Project. We're trying to earn money together. I'm always out to support the cat club. Though you can generally see which students are here to get in and get out, and which students are here to get in, be a part of it, get out, and eventually come back and get back. And if they're not getting back here, at least they're getting back somewhere. And you can spot those students a lot of times, and that makes me feel connected. And also trying to find those students who have the like great potential to do that, and like trying to pull them out of their shell, get them involved, and say, hey, you can join the club. You can run for club president if you want to. Just don't take my presidency away. It's those things that make me feel really connected, and the ASSC. I mean, it's hard not to feel connected when you're like making decisions for the greater student population.
So what makes me feel connected to the campus? I didn't go to a regular high school. I missed out on prom, all the dances, field trips, grad night, everything. But I had my high school experience here, cutting out all the going out to clubs or like drinking or going with friends and things. I didn't have that. I would get in trouble. Yeah, there was a time where I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like people could see and tell that I am younger than everyone. So whenever there was an opportunity to have study groups, I didn't go. I said I would, but I didn't go. But I found out that, through Mesa, is that you could go there. People can help you. You can talk to people. And on top of that, there are clubs that you can find a passion in. And, I feel as if, this is my first time serving on the governing board for the school. I actually feel like I'm doing my part here. Actually, even though that my major is bioscience med, and I have no interest in poli-sci at all. When I do go to Davis, when I do go to Davis, I actually do want to continue being on the government. So I am taking something from this college. When I come back, I'll be here. Maybe we'll get admission through records, I am taking something from this college, and I feel connected. Just like when I met new people, I realized, people do have different lives. Everyone from everywhere comes here, Not one person should judge another, by just the way they look or by the way they dress. We all come here to learn.
All right, thank you. So the last question before we go to the crowd is, what can the college do better to ensure that more students succeed in reaching their goals? Give us about one or two things. And if you guys just speak up in the mic, I don't think everybody can hear you guys.
Okay. So I've experienced it before where it's not exactly that I lost my passion, it's just I am actually really having a hard time in school. Like for example, in organic chemistry, when I had to learn this whole chemical reaction, oxidation reduction, I died a little, my brain fell off. Oh, goodness. Yeah. But I liked it, Maria Santiago. It's just funny. What helped me ensure, if I was going to do, is talking to the teacher after hours, let her know that I don't understand anything, literally, we start from the beginning, chapter 1 to chapter 9, just 1 through 9, just get me through it, but, it's letting the professors know, where you're at, if you're actually not having understanding of what's going on, just go talk to them, and then on top of that, it actually does make a difference to do your homework. People tell me, I remember I went to the mall one time, and they said, oh, hey, I remember you, you're the girl in the library. Yeah, I live in the library, in the Mac lab, pretty much, but I do a lot of homework there, and it's a matter of just continue to learn,
One thing would be, as students, we're accountable for what we do, but most of the time we don't feel accountable. GPA is kind of like this abstract idea, it's like most students don't think, oh, if I don't have that extra .05 GPA, I'm not going to go to a good college, or if I miss that class, I'm probably not going to do well in the next test, and then I might not do well in the class in general, have to retake the class if it's a bad situation. And oftentimes the teachers won't necessarily, it's not their job to be our mother and father and scold us, you're not coming to class. But I think that if they add that in a little bit more, that they do well. And some of the best teachers are the ones that have made me feel accountable. Like my English teacher, Emily Blair, she made everyone accountable for what they did, and she made it a point to let them know, you're messing up, you need to be better. Come to my office hours, I'll help you out. A lot of teachers do that, and it helped me out personally, and I think that's one thing. The other thing is just making connections. Even if you're not necessarily the teacher of X or Y student, if you interact with a student like Dr. Spillner, he has had a lot with the Student Ambassadors Program, and he's been out there a lot, and he's made these connections with those students, and those students go on to make connections with other students, and people start to feel more involved. And so that's a very helpful thing, and it's helped me as well.
As far as success, we all know there's no cookie cutter kind of mold for success. So what the college can best do for the students is understand that and apply it, that the students have their own identification of what success is. And if we take the time to learn what a student wants and what he can achieve, then we can apply it specifically to him to cater to what they want. So I would say that for the one sentence, don't put it as just going to a four-year university. Put it maybe as getting a trade. Put it as getting something that they can contribute to the community. To find what the student needs, has it as unique that you can help others with and share.
I think if we extend the hours and keep open these support groups like the MESA, the Umoja, the computer room, the English lab, the library, and especially the math, especially these activities that students really need and that they be struggling in, that will really help the success of the students, and I think it will be far better. But, because it helps me a lot, because Umoja they have tutor, math and English tutor. When anything is not available in there, I go over there to Mesa, and this has been the thing I've been doing for the past 2 or 3 years that have been helping me with my success. So we can keep these support clubs and things open like the Mesa, the Umoja, the English lab and the library, and the math, definitely the math. It will help us a lot, definitely.
Like I said before, the biggest 2 things that would help me succeed more, and I think the fellow students that I've asked the question to in classes, is having more hands-on learning in the classrooms. There's a lot of hands-on learners in classrooms that a lot of teachers don't cater to. And it's hard for us to actually pick up material when all you do is lecture for 3 hours straight and then send us home. We took notes, but that doesn't make us absorb it. Secondly would be the teachers. Yes, the teachers are awesome, but the ones that really care, we see do more than just teach in the classroom and do their hours for students to come see them. They're involved with the clubs. They're around campus, volunteering in the labs. They're more available, and they actually ask us what we're doing outside of our classroom. They're the ones that actually show us that they care, not only about what they're teaching, but the fact that we are learning it, and ask us if we are able to pick up what they are trying to teach us. The ones that show us that they actually care about what they are teaching. The ones that are passionate about what they're teaching. Those are the ones that help us more than anything. And I think having better teachers like that to succeed would be the biggest beneficial, not only teachers, but counselors as well. Like somebody stated, not just being another number. I noticed the first 3 times I went to see a counselor, that's all I was a number. They literally were just saying, what's your major, this is what you need to take. When I tried to ask questions, it was like, no, this is what you need to take. Yeah, I get that, but why? When I saw Jocelyn over in CalWorks, she actually spent the time and asked me what I planned to do with my life, who I was as a person, what I've already done, and how I was going to accomplish that. and actually help me set goals. And I thank her for that because that was awesome. And she does it every time I go to see her. It's not a quick in and out. I'm always there at least a half hour, sometimes an hour. But having more relatable teachers and mentors on campus, not just the staff, but just other people volunteering to be in those positions, I think would be helpful for any success for any of the students on campus.
I would say a big thing, not all students here on campus know about all the resources and events that go on here at the college. I would say just being able to reach out with all of the students, letting them know, hey, we have this event here on the campus, or we have these resources here at the campus. Just being able to reach out to the students and letting them know what we have available here on campus. And secondly, since we do have a very large population of veterans associated here on the campus, Veterans Resource Center is a big thing. After talking to a lot of veterans, veterans want their own resource center here on campus, connected somewhat close to the 400 building, where they have their counseling, they have admissions, financial aid, somewhere right there close to the 400 building where they can do, everything they need is right there in that one area, so they don't have to travel.
All right. With that being said, we're done with the questions that we have. What we're going to do now is put it to the crowd. So if there's any faculty, students that have questions or comments they would like to make, feel free. I'll be walking around. If you guys want to raise your hand, I'll get to you guys. We got one. Give me 1 second.
I need for my degree. Every time I go to take them, because I give myself that I need to get ready to take them, the classes are getting cut, and then I can't take them. Was there change?
Offering the classes more often, or making them more available, the ones that we actually need to graduate.
And not only that, but like counselors that are teaching certain classes, you can't get in if you have a question because they're busy in the counseling center. You can't get in to ask the question as a student or teacher for your class because the lines are so long in the counseling center that, and I just personally, I feel like counselors shouldn't be teaching classes whether they're online or not, due to the fact that as a student, I can't get in to talk to my teacher because they're in the counseling center.
Hiring counselors to be counselors and making them more available to us. I know that when I first started and I wanted to see a counselor, I made an appointment online and they weren't taking any counseling appointments for the first 2 weeks of school. It was walk-in only. We need that more available at least 2 weeks before the semester even starts. At least 2 weeks before the semester starts.
The students how you would feel about a mandatory orientation that would allow you to be informed about all of these resources that the college has.
I think it would be great. I think we should have assemblies. We had them in high school. Why don't we have them here?
Do you guys have anything to say?
Answering your question, Karen, I would agree fully. We want to do that. So the one thing would be managing the students and making sure they come. Because some students obviously would come to assemblies like here. If you look around in our town hall, how many students we really have here? Like, less than 3, maybe 4.
How many of them knew about it?
How many knew about it? Exactly that too. So it's about getting people the information and then having them do something with it. So that comes, I guess, with social media specifically.
Another one would be, like you were saying, there would be an accountability, I think. I mean, are you going to deny them entry to the school because they have hosted orientation of the school? I mean, there's not a lot of ways to force someone to go to orientation, but I went to the orientation hosted by Dr. Aguirre when I first came, and I learned so much information that I was like rearing to get out of the gates. I mean, it was a great experience. I enjoyed listening to him speak, and so I would love to see the orientation, but maybe in the form of a class, like there are some classes that prepare you for school, and I think we should like upsell those. Get people more interested in the classes that prepare students to do well in college. I wish I would have known that they existed when I first started, because it would have saved me a lot of headaches.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
So it sounds like promotion seems to be a recurring theme. Like you guys were saying, I had no idea that this was happening today. I just walked into the cafeteria and happened to stumble upon it. And I'm up here every day, Monday through Friday, and I don't really know any of the resources that are available to help me out, and given that's partially my fault also, I haven't necessarily looked as hard as I should. But how would you, or what would your plan be to get promotion or more promotion on campus to let students like me know what is actually available?
Actually, I'm really glad you asked that question, because part of my role in the Associated Students of Solano College is the Activities Committee chair. And I want to have more events that get knowledge out to people. There's all these great resources on campus. Patricia Young in the Transfer Center, Career Center, excuse me. And then you got the Transfer Center, and you have we do have a lot of programs, but they're always empty because people just don't really know that they exist. And I don't know if it's a lack of interest or this idea that we as students should know that these things exist. We should look for them, but I didn't even really know that we had a student government for like the first 2 years of my time here at Solano. And once I found out, I was like, yeah, I've been trying to add it since then, and I've been here for a long time, real long time. But once I find out these things exist, I use them, and I think maybe we need to work on word of mouth. Tell your friends, tell my friends. Have days where people, specifically for showing people that these things exist. That would be my big thing.
Anyone else?
Just answering that question as a resolution. Every class specifically has a niche, like literature. You probably want to hear a guest speaker in regards to a new book coming out, for example. That at the library last weekend. So maybe, just maybe, if we can inform the teachers who are teaching these subjects of events that are happening on campus pertaining to that. For example, say Jim McClough, who's really avid about biotechnology. Byra was on campus a few weeks ago for the career department, but not many students actually from the biotech program here were even there, likely two. So maybe informing the teachers and giving them the power. Yes, the teachers announcing it to the class would definitely open up that door.
Making the website more user-friendly would also help greatly. That has been a big issue. I went on the website trying to find different clubs, and the club list was really long, but none of the clubs that I was even interested was on it. And then when I tried finding it, and actually I was looking into the AGS, which is one of our honor societies, and there was no information whatsoever on the website about it. You actually have to hunt. And making the website more user-friendly, instructions on the website would be helpful. Where to look for something, things like that.
All right, we have another question or comment?
That's actually almost exactly what I was going to say. Making the website more user-friendly and at least having links for the clubs would be really helpful, and it would be a really simple thing. Just when you at least look at the list of clubs, you could, click on them and get even a little blurb of information. It would be really helpful.
Have you ever thought about doing a survey in the orientations and finding out what's the need of the people, or what they would like on campus, or where do they fit in, and then doing a follow-up, not just asking questions, but follow-up and making sure they're getting connected or plugged in?
Well, the last meeting that we went to extend the library hours, matter of fact, a lot of students were there. Mr. Craig, he had definitely, that's one of the things we was suggested was a survey, and that maybe perhaps we can include it on the website and make it available for all the students and everything to fill out and their comments and suggestions. So definitely a survey was recommended, and that's something I think Ms. Craig, he definitely said that he would look into, because and we're gonna have a follow-up meeting. Talk about extending the library hours.
As for surveys, maybe I'm just one of the few, but how many people really significantly fill out a survey with full intention of caring about it? You guys do?
Yeah, every single one I get in my email box.
Yeah.
One of my biggest issues is all the classes that I asked for the information on this, they said that they would be more willing to participate in surveys if they were actually emailed those surveys every time. When they are emailed, they are able to participate in them. And I think that is the biggest issue, is we're not getting emailed all the surveys. A lot of the surveys are done here on campus.
One thing that kind of applies to your question is there's a new upcoming program, the Student Success Initiative, which is kind of, I guess forcing students to find their path as quickly as possible, which is good in the sense that we have all these credit caps, like the one that's coming up for 90 units, and students need to find their place, but this is going to kind of help, streamline that process. And I'm not sure if there's going to be surveys involved. I'm not as versed on the Student Success Initiative as I probably should be, but I think that it will help with those issues specifically, and hopefully it's not going to impact counseling, because it's going to involve a lot more counseling. So it'll be their job to discern where the problems lie and then to get through. So maybe the survey is not necessarily what they're doing, but it will help.
What about doing something for getting rid of Solano's negative images amongst the colleges and the universities? Because I'm a parent, and I'm coming back from my daughter going to different things with different colleges, and they're saying, oh, you don't want to go to a different program, and they're saying, oh, you don't want to go to Solano, that's a waste of your time, not even worth your time. Because my daughter's in the IB program at Armio. And, that's one of the things ETS and some of the IB program colleges that are looking at her are telling her. And they're saying, oh, that's a waste of your time. You've already done everything that Solano's there for. Basically, all Solano's being used for is to get your basics to transfer into the major universities and colleges. And I think that when the adult school has more classes that are more relevant to what people are interested in than the actual college itself does, I think we need to do something, because it's affecting the big picture of the thing. And eventually people aren't going to want to come to Solano, even as adults. And if we can't do that in the big picture, Solano as a whole, not just the student body, but Solano as a whole cannot be successful. So I think we need to take some of those adult high school classes, like Boston Reed is with the adult school right now, and they have medical classes for like medical assisting, back office, veterinary assisting. They have all of those classes, culinary classes. And I think, because you can get degrees in those as well, and I think that along with like the medical assisting office, if you offer the medical assisting back office, you're not only making our students more marketable, because now they can do front and back office work, which gives them two purposes and easier to work for on that degree. And whereas here, you go and sign up for a medical assisting class, because that's what my major is, and all you get is nothing more than a glorified secretary.
I apologize, I don't know more about adult schools here in Solano County. I've only been here for a relatively short amount of time, but as far as our negative image, there is a lot of stigma against us. Recently we went to a conference, and the student government went to the conference, and they had made a comment, well, you know, Fairfield's never here, you know, Solano's not here, you know, oh, you're from Solano, you know, it kind of, you know, hurt the members that were there. And part of our public relations committee, which is headed up by J.D. Barkley Alexander, he's not here right now, but he's been working hard to try and clean up our image and make people realize that some of the stuff that is being said about us is not necessarily accurate. I mean, we have, for example, our Professor Lutz. I've been hearing from so many of the math and science people that if you transfer to like Davis and they hear you're from Lutz's class, then it's like, oh, well, you know, let's study with that guy, or this guy already knows what he's doing, we don't have to worry. There's a lot of teachers like that here on campus. Jim McClone and Ed Ray have a reputation in their respective fields. I can't speak for a lot of the other professors because I'm you know, limited in biology and sciences, but we do have this this negative image that we are working hard. And that's one of the reasons why the PRO committee has started putting these posters up for people to write their issues, because we want to address these issues. And this year, the student government is very active in that. We are very interested in changing things, and I want to see that continue too, and that'll help in the long run.
I'm not sure exactly the negative image that Solano have, but I can tell you, coming out of prison, doing 6 years in prison, I was lost. These teachers, these counselors, thanks to the Veteran Administration group out there, they have pushed, encouraged me to continue my education because I was totally lost. So I'm not sure about the negative image, but I can assure you that I'm already graduate. They have helped me, they have provided me more resources to help me extend my education. I can also advocate to other parolees. They didn't think I was going to graduate, let alone graduate. They didn't think I was going to stay no more than a semester. But the counselors, these support groups, they have been so helpful to me that I know if I can do it, anybody can do it. All they need is just to be motivated and to come up here and just to try. Definitely, like I said, we have more mentors for students who want mentors, because mentors can definitely guide them, instruct them, and provide them more things that's, you know, like they help me. I don't know negative images. I love Solano. Solano, I love him.
I'm only telling you what's out there.
No, I agree. It is out there. But the school in general, I know as a whole, is working towards a better image for all of us. Our accreditation has been coming up, it's coming up soon. We've been working hard to upgrade it because our accreditation is so low. I know not only the ASSC, but the school as a whole, the administration has been working to upgrade our accreditation with all universities and for the state. So we are working towards bettering our public image.
If there's not any more questions, I'm going to ask one question. It's a heavy question, right? These questions need to be asked. So, for you guys, who's been at Solano for more than 2 semesters? Raise your hand. Only been at Solano for?
This is my first semester.
Okay. How long have you been at Solano for? 2nd semester? Okay. So for me, I guess, was there a moment that you considered leaving Solano, and what was the cause of that?
I actually did. I actually thought about going to strictly an online college instead because I am a single parent and I can't work while doing school full-time, and I can't get the financial aid unless I am going to school full-time. So for me, it's really hard, and I was thinking about actually going to an online school instead, but I realized that it's harder for me to learn that way, and I actually appreciate the classrooms. Being able to actually ask the teacher and get an answer right away for my questions is the biggest issue for me, so I decided to stay. And I'm glad I did, because becoming involved with the ASSC, the student government, has actually improved my morale for coming here. Getting more involved with things like that. I don't think enough students do get involved because they don't care. They are here just as a minimum requirements, getting their basics before they move on, but that's what a community college is for, and I think getting them more involved with other things here on campus would grow our student body.
I do think one thing is that coming from especially for young black males, I think if we did receive our football team back in class, the football team did give influence a lot of young brothers to attend school, and not only that, the coaches were influencing them to increasing their academic skills and things of that nature. So I think with the football team leaving, that did decrease, especially black enrollment. But I would love to see our football team come back because we receive more brothers, and they'll be influenced to go to school.
My first semester here, I had an unfortunate experience with a teacher. I dealt with a little bit of racism and some general discrimination towards me and my group of students, and that had really felt, it really negatively impacted me. And I had several friends in the class that felt like, they didn't understand, why that had happened. And so I had talked to one of my teachers, and they had suggested I talk to the vice president at the time. I believe that was Arturo Reyes, who was the vice president at the time. I had spoken to him, and it made me feel better knowing that there was an outlet. And so that kind of, I had one teacher pull me down, which is unfortunate. I've only had that happen like once or twice. A teacher maybe not feel like I should be here. But then I had another teacher lift me up both times, and so yeah, it's unfortunate, but that does happen.
So the question was, has there ever been a time where I felt like I needed to go? Leave SWANA, right?
Yeah, and what was the cause of that?
Okay. Around the time that my peers, if I went to regular school, graduated, they went straight to universities, and I was here as one. But that affected me in the sense that, yeah, I want to go to university now. I've been here too long. But the thing is, I thought about what I accomplished. I was a sophomore in high school by the time I graduated high school. I was a sophomore in college by the time I graduated high school. I already racked up grades. I had 2 years ahead of me. Well, in terms of everyone else, yeah. But I did stay, and I will continue to stay until I transfer, and I was in terms of graduating, and I'll do that. But the only reason for why I wanted to go is because everyone is heading to university, but I'm still gonna go to university eventually, right?
All right. So that will wrap up our first ever town hall. Thank you, students, for being here. Thank you, faculty and students, for being in the crowd, giving yourselves a round of applause. As I said before, this is the first of many, so we will be having one, I don't know when, soon, but that's not time frame. So you will know via email, flyers, whatever we need to do to get more people in here so we can know. But we will let you know. If you have any questions or any concerns or any feedback that can help